Greetings and salutations. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Emma and this week I'm going to teach you how to sound fun. Before we get started, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and to subscribe to my channel for more writing related badassery from me. Right, so sounding fun. I'm just going to share a couple of techniques that I like to use when I'm funifying a brand, and I will pick out some examples of other brands that use these techniques as well, so that you can see them in action as we go. So let's shut the hell up and crack on with how to sound fun. First up, making copy sound fun isn't about going all in, balls deep, 100% fun. That's just annoying, for one, which is kind of a huge point. But for number two, it tends to be very conceptual, very rambling, and often doesn't actually get to the point. When we write sales copy, we want to give people a message. We want to have a message hierarchy. We want to tell them what we need to tell them and where they need to go, basically. And if you stray too far into funland, you're not going to come across clearly in any of those objectives whatsoever. So when we're writing in fun, we need to make sure that our whole piece is structured in a very targeted, strategic way, as we would normally do, with our top message and then our secondary message and our tertiary message and our call to action, what we want them to do, where we want them to go, what the whole point of the piece is, where they're off to, and then we're adding what I like to call fun sprinkles. That is, you're changing a couple of words from functional words into fun words, so that the strategy and the hierarchy and the sheer marketingness of the piece are all there still, but it just sounds a little bit more fun. So I'll give you a couple of examples. Instead of saying sale now on, I might say sale now on, drop everything. Or instead of saying buy one now, I might say grab a couple, come get yours, get it while it's hot. Something really fun. I'm still telling them to go and buy it or go get one, but I'm saying it in a really fun way. I'm just tweaking the words ever so slightly. So we're never losing the actual strategy of the piece. We're just making it a little bit more fun with a couple of fun sprinkles. Let's take an example of a call to action button. You want someone to sign up to something. The button might ordinarily say, sign up. No, we don't want that if we're trying to be fun. We want something like, sign me up, or I'm in, or something that someone might say, but in a slightly more fun way, I guess. So, fun sprinkles. It's a good way to inject some fun into copy that is still very strategic without going off into full fun mode. Turned up to 11, really doesn't get anything done at all. It's like, like your stoner mate. He's really fun, but he lays on the couch and he's pretty much useless 100% of the time. So we don't expect anything of him, Everyone knows someone like that. Next up, try to avoid jargon at all costs. Jargon is not fun. It's not fun at all, and it also has very little substance to it. It doesn't mean anything, and any copywriter worth their salt will avoid jargon if they can. But let's imagine you can't. Your client really, really wants that jargon word in there. They're desperate for it. Or perhaps your client base only speaks in jargon. That's all they understand. That's all they identify with. It's like a trigger word, and when they see it, they completely understand exactly what you're talking about because that's what they want. So if you find yourself in that position, fun sprinkles might be useful, but you could also try approaching it in a very self-aware way. I think that Phrasee does this quite well. They are an AI app that generates subject lines for businesses based on artificial intelligence, obviously. They're a very fun, they're so easy to engage with, and I sign up for their emails and I get them every week, every month, I'm not sure. I always read them, even though theirs is a business which potentially threatens my job. But they manage to blend the concept of AI and something that's quite technological with just a really fun approach. They use GIFs and memes and slang in amongst the jargon, and it just makes it a little bit more digestible. I'm more open to it because it's fun. So you can always try that approach if you really have to use jargon, but just try not to. Write in a colloquial way. That is to say, write it like you would say it out loud. Fun is usually quite casual, isn't it? You don't have professional fun or boardroom fun, really, and if you do, tell me about it because I'm really intrigued to know what that entails. But typically, fun is something quite relaxed, so you want your tone of voice to sound like you're talking to a friend. So once you've written it, try reading it aloud to yourself, and if it sounds a little bit stiff and formal, go back and edit and think about how you can colloquialise that. And this, warning, does include sometimes binning off grammar and punctuation rules a little bit. Because when you're speaking out loud, you aren't thinking about grammar and punctuation rules. You're thinking about just saying what you want to say in your own way. What, that rhymed? I've done a video on this, which I'll link for you up there, but essentially what you're going to try to do is drop a few pronouns, start some sentences with conjunctions, end some sentences with prepositions. I mean, we're talking the whole shebang. You may even want to split an infinitive. Just everything that your English teacher at primary told you not to do, do that. That sounds like how people talk, so when in doubt, break some rules and write the way that people talk. Finally, know your audience's humour. You can find this info out by just basically stalking your target customer. Where are they hanging out? What TV shows do they like? Which websites do they go to? How do they talk? What do they like to joke about? What is fun to them? Not what is fun to your marketing manager or the company founder or your other mate that sits over there and they think that that's fun. No. Fun, as with all tone of voice, is on a varying scale. You know, it's not black and white. Fun is very subjective. So you need to make sure that you are writing in a way that is considered fun by that specific demographic. I think a great example of this is Innocent Drinks. They make a lot of really funny jokes just in general, but specifically whenever it's the Great British Bake Off season and it's back on TV, they will live tweet throughout the whole programme, and the jokes that they make are so on point for their target customer. They know their target customer is watching that TV show. Somehow they knew that, and they get just huge engagement every single week when that show is on. Even I read those tweets and I don't necessarily buy Innocent Drinks. It's just not my jam. But I love reading those tweets, and that is a best-in-class example of knowing what your customer is into and really playing to that. Do they use a lot of youthful colloquial slang? Because if so, you're pretty much okay to use that in your marketing and your emails. It's going to work because they get it. Whereas if you're making random Doctor Who jokes in your marketing and your target customer doesn't even watch Doctor Who, that's going to be a bit of a fish slap in the face, isn't it? So just think about that. You need to make it fun to them, not fun to you or fun to anyone else. Fun to them. So let's wrap this up, shall we, with a brief overview of what I have literally just said. 1. Small touches. Use fun sprinkles. Don't dump the whole can of fun over the copy because it's going to be directionless and you're not going to get any good results really. Make sure the whole structure is there and everything is perfectly honed and targeted, and then switch up a couple of bits here and there to make it fun. I recommend puns. Puns are really good for something like that. Avoid jargon. Just avoid it. Write like you speak. Make it colloquial. Use slang if you have to, as long as it's the slang that they're using. Finally, know your audience's humour and play to that humour and play to what they think is fun, and you're sure to get a couple of good hits in there. And that brings us to the end of the video. If you've got any questions on how to sound fun, you can leave me a comment below and I'll happily answer it for you. Or you can find me on Twitter at EJ Cownley and have a little chat with me there. Alternatively, if you want to request a video or have a question you want me to answer for you, leave a comment. Let's do this thing. And until next week, I'll meet you back here, same time, same place, for more Kiss My A's. Take care.